right, we're back. It's another episode of the Tapping Football Podcast. We've been away for 2 weeks, but the Premier League is back. Toby, fantastic win for City.
Really? Fantastic win for
Wow.
City.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm complete. All right, let's start again.
Steve's drunk. We're not
He's
starting
definitely
again.
No, we have to start again.
No, we don't have
Why-
to
why
start
we
again.
start
Let's
again?
go.
Start again.
Let's go. I'll remind you of what the score was yesterday. It was 2-0 to
You're
Spurs.
you look like even more of a loser doing that in your suit, man.
My guy. It was 2-0 to Spurs, courtesy of our debutant, man. Simple. That's what you got to remember.
Who else we got on the show today?
Stevie Wonder.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done now.
You got Black done?
I really wanted to start again, man.
No, you don't get any reruns.
Honestly,
Chances.
This is
Let's cut it.
this platform is unforgiving.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to tear me a new one the other week when he said, "Oh, it's a dreadful start." And now look at him.
Yeah.
Now look
Yeah,
at
to
him.
be fair, I was head loss. Yeah, Black Dan, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, man. I'm not feeling great actually in terms of football. Footballing
Okay,
results.
yeah.
Footballing results. I'm not feeling great, but I think Arsenal have been bad for a number of weeks, so I've stopped letting them affect my mood.
How many wins is it for Arsenal this season?
6 wins, all comps,
That's
including
a mad thing.
the worst
Including
thing
Europa
about
League.
No, the worst thing about that is that we won our first 2 games, so it's literally been like 4 wins since the 3rd week of August.
That is crazy.
Wait, 6 wins. Is that including Europa League?
No, not including
I
Europa.
was about to say. I was like,
That's
wow.
a madness, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is our worst start since 1912, 1913.
What, before World War One?
Yeah,
That's
it's incredible. It's actually incredible.
That's actually ridiculous. Arteta at the wheel, isn't it? All right, let's get on to the City match against Spurs. Spurs pulling off the improbable. Mourinho masterclass or Pep disaster class?
Pep disaster class.
100.
In fact, I don't know if is it fair to blame that on Pep, because as a manager, what more can you do there? What more can you actually do in that sort of situation? You've selected a team that's good enough to beat us. You've seen that team play us off the park for a good 60 minutes. Yeah, you've seen that team create countless chances at goal. And yet they've come out of it without even scoring a goal, and they're losing, and they've lost 2-0, and they've lost their left back, who's now going to be suspended for a game. I don't think you can put that one down to Pep. I think you can blame the disastrous title challenge on Pep, but I don't think you can put that loss down to Pep yesterday.
To be honest, they've had so many games like that this season. Like if you look at all the stats for most of their games, they've created the most chances in the league, scored the most goals in the league, but individual errors have literally cost them time and time again. And it was the same yesterday with Zinchenko. Complete moment of head loss there.
ridiculous.
Just like it's actually one of the most ridiculous challenges that you can do on a yellow card
But
as well.
for me, it's the first one. The first yellow is even more head loss. As like, I hate footballers like that. Just mind your business. Like, you're
ridiculous.
a left back here. Do you know how far he's sprinted to get involved with the play for no need, and he's just caused himself unnecessary yellow card. And then the second one is just foolishness,
ridiculous,
compounded.
I remember because he at the game as well. Like he obviously barged into Winks, and you couldn't see his facial expression there, but you could see him like indicating it as if he's done nothing wrong. And then when I watched the replays, he actually had the audacity to say it was shoulder to shoulder. he had the goal to say it was shoulder to shoulder.
The thing is, it was shoulder to shoulder, but like you can't say shoulder to shoulder when you're running directly at the player and the ball is going that way. And
He's not even gone for the ball.
He's not even looked at the ball once. And the worst thing about it is like it's Harry Winks. Like where is he going?
There's no need.
He's got no pace. Like just honestly, show
You
him
say
down.
that though, but he burnt. He was gonna burn Zinchenko.
Yeah, but only because he had the run on him. But like
Winks has
honestly,
got a little bit of pace.
Just stop.
Yes, he's faster than you. You fat slob.
Wow. Ridiculous.
Okay, yo.
This is some personal abuse, yeah. But yeah, shock. A professional footballer is faster than me. Yeah, okay. I'm really hurt by that.
But I mean, your pace can't have been helped by that mighty bucket for one.
Yeah.
You've literally just.
I walloped it.
You walloped it just like Zinchenko walloped Harry Winks yesterday. But yeah, that was the turning point for them. And anyone who knows me knew I was not predicting a win at all. But the one thing I did clock within like the first 5-10 minutes, and I said it to Dan in the chat, and I said, Man City don't actually look like they look good. Approach play, they look good, but I'm saying they don't look the same. They don't look as ruthless today. And the game is there as well. And even before a ball was kicked, I was licking my lips at the prospect of us trying to isolate one of Zinchenko, Otamendi, or Kyle Walker against someone like Son or Bergwijn, or Lucas Moura. And not even to rub salt into the wound, but defensively, they weren't even that bad. They weren't even bad at all. I think maybe one lapse in concentration for Otamendi to come out springing for the ball, and then Sonny's in, and then he has a shot at goal. But generally, I don't think they were that bad. But it's just individual errors and shocking finishing.
I know much has been said about City over the course of the season and how they've dropped off. And I think yesterday, just singling yesterday out, I think that was just unfortunate, because if you look at the chances they created on the face of it, and if you look at their XG compared to Spurs, they should have trounced you lot completely,
easily.
Do you know what I mean?
Easily.
There's not much more they can do, and that's why I think like people shouldn't overanalyze this result. However, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's now 21 points to Liverpool, and over the course of the season, they haven't been good enough.
But how many penalties do they want to miss this season as well?
I think they've missed 6, which the only team that have missed more penalties since the start of last season is United.
So it's like, for me, like, yeah, fine, they're unlucky, this, that, and other. But when you actually get these opportunities to put teams away, you have to put them away. And the thing is, in the big games especially, because as you've seen with Bergwijn's finish and Son's finish as well, even though it was deflected, that they have the quality to put you to the sword. Like, that's Bergwijn. That was Spurs' first shot on goal. And look at the vim that he hit it with. Buried
absolutely
Ederson.
buried him.
Do you know what I mean? And the technique involved for that strike was just
Superb.
was incredible. But that's what happens when you don't put your chances away against a top team.
And just more on the unfortunate thing. You're saying I don't think people can read into it. I think people should read into it, because that's not the first time we've seen Man City not get the desired result, because they just haven't put the game to bed. That's not the first time we've seen it. Literally a few days ago, against Man United, dominated the game, created enough chances to win that game, 2-3 goals, and yet they lose 1-0 at home in the cup game. And it's not really acceptable. Like, Pep, I think he was quoted saying that my job is to get the team into the opposition's box. From then on, it's the responsibility of my team to put their chances away, and I think he did that. That's why I'm saying I can't actually pin that loss on Pep. Like yesterday as well. Don't get me wrong, we defended really well. Like a lot of bodies on the line, a lot of blocks. I think Davinson Sanchez had something like a game high 10 blocks or clearances or something like that. Alderweireld blocked the one off the line, blocked the one with Raheem Sterling that Gundogan played into him as well. So there were a lot of blocks, but like, they had an open goal yesterday. They had a penalty. Aguero, open goal, and he literally just hits it wide. Fair enough, the Lloris one, he saved it with his feet. Fantastic save.
As well.
Fantastic save. Hit the bar. Like, they had their chances, and I think Tottenham were lucky to win, but I think we're only lucky because Man City were just so uncharacteristically wasteful on the day.
Yeah. Were you happy with the way Mourinho set out for that match? Because... some people are saying Mourinho masterclass.
It's not a masterclass.
Definitely not.
And it's not masterclass. Go on, sorry.
No, I think that's the point there. Mourinho, but that's how he wanted the game to play out, and it's played out exactly into his hands. So I think from his perspective, how much more could he have done to earn that result?
They could have done way more to earn that result. Personally, I didn't think Spurs were in that game at all, really, until the red card. And I get what you're saying. Like, oh yeah, if he could have picked a way for them to win, like it would have been Man City having a lot of possession, etc., etc. But the thing is, if you actually look at Mourinho masterclasses of old, the other teams weren't having. Like, if you look at Inter versus Barcelona, that iconic match.
They didn't have a.
They did it like Barcelona. They couldn't create anything against that Inter team. Inter weren't letting Messi and them shoot on their goal every 5 minutes like Spurs were yesterday.
But Inter were forced. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that's a Mourinho masterclass. I'm saying a Mourinho masterclass means you're limiting the opponent to any chances and you're countering with them effectively. Spurs didn't have any counter-attacking threat yesterday. They ran out a few players, but they were marshalled. Their attackers marshalled with ease. And City, it was just wave after wave after wave of attack.
I get what you're saying. In the purest form, it wasn't the spectacular Mourinho defensive performance, but given the resources he has what's available, the only way to come out, in my eyes, with a victory in that game yesterday was to play it the way he played it and hope some luck comes through.
I disagree. Because like if you've seen it against City, that when they've actually dropped points historically, even you look this season, Norwich gave you a better performance than Spurs did when they beat Man City in terms of the way that they came out and actually took the game to City. They isolated their defenders one-on-one and battered them, forced them into errors with Stones, Otamendi and that kind of thing. You've seen it with Palace last season. You've seen it even Spurs when they beat City at the Etihad in the Champions League, that the game was actually taken to them and you were a threat. And basically when it was 11 versus 11, Tottenham had no threat whatsoever.
None. And this is the thing is, again, I have to start this disclaimer. I don't want to get onto him because we won. You already know my views on the guy as our boss, so I'm not really gonna long it out anymore. But I hate when people say that's the only way he could have played with the squad that's available. Literally, I get it. You play with a target, man. You want to play long ball football. I get it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but I get it. You can't play that way with Lucas Moura. He doesn't offer the ball. The ball don't stick when you hump it to flipping Ali or Son or Lucas Moura like it does with Harry Kane. I get that, but I hate when people tell me that that's the only way we can play. You saw Pochettino. Pochettino played. No. Let me finish. Pochettino played. Probably 40 minutes of that game with maybe 35 minutes of that game with no Harry Kane. You saw the difference. He was able to take the game to Man City whilst limiting their quality of chances at goal. You can argue and say, oh yeah, Kevin De Bruyne didn't play, Sane didn't start, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, as a team, as a City team, Pochettino not only found a way to limit them, but found a way to press the opposition into errors, press them into mistakes. And I'm sorry, there's no way on earth you can have the talented players that we have in midfield, and you're telling me that we can't try and at least take the game to City or control a certain game to a certain extent against Man City. I'm not going to have it.
I'm not saying the Spurs team can't. What I'm saying is I don't think Mourinho knows another way. But yeah, let's not label on that because you know my thoughts on Mourinho as well.
What's your thoughts on Mourinho?
Don't rate him.
Okay, cool.
I haven't rated him for a long time. You know that though.
I was just double checking.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah. So sorry to conclude, it's not a masterclass. It's not Mourinho masterclass.
Definitely not a masterclass.
Mourinho masterclass is Mourinho at Man United when you lot beat Chelsea 2-1, came back from a goal down. When you lot blasted Liverpool on the counter and limited them. Salah was rendered null and void. Mane rendered null and void. Firmino rendered null and void. Everyone was tipping Liverpool to go into that game and win. And they got the shock of their lives. So did Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
That's a Mourinho masterclass. Not yesterday, but I'll take the W.
Cool. City, should we be worried for them against Real Madrid?
Yeah. We should. I still think they're going to go through, but we should.
I think they have to be way, way, way more clinical than they have been this season to go through that tie. Just because I think Real Madrid, they're actually have improved drastically over the course of this season. That they're probably one of the best defenses in Europe at the moment, with the amount of clean sheets that they're taking, the form of Varane and Ramos at the back at the moment as well. Courtois has been raised his levels again, so I think City have.
His levels were on.
They were
on the floor. Minus 100.
Yeah. His levels were on the floor, but he seems to be back to his best, like what we saw at Chelsea for a few years. So I think City actually have their work cut out for them if they want to penetrate that defense. And also Madrid, I think going forward they've actually improved as well. They're looking a bit more dangerous. Personally,
I still think Madrid will. But they need width because obviously the system they're playing now, I think they're playing Modric and Cruz in some games a bit more advanced.
Yeah.
I just think against a team like Man City, they can try the narrow approach, but I think ultimately they're gonna need width to try and combat the threat of Man City. And I also think that Man City, in addition to breaking Madrid down, I think they need to worry about how they'll keep the ball in midfield as well, because they've now added Madrid now have Valverde in the ranks. The guy's tireless. He's tireless. He'll work his socks off, and he's the type of guy that will press the likes of Rodri if he starts. Press the likes of Gundogan if he starts into errors. So it'll be an interesting tie, but I still back Man City to edge it, man. I think Pep's got a lot to answer for, and I think he will against Real Madrid.
If City have any hopes of winning this Champions League. They really obviously they have to beat Real Madrid, but they need a scout like that to build confidence, someone with actual clout in the competition. They need to knock them out, otherwise it's not going to be a good time for them.
Yeah, cool. Quickly before I move on from this Spurs City match, Lloris back in goal for Spurs. 3 of his last 4 penalties he's faced saved.
Yeah, man. I mean, you said it there. I'm not gonna labour on the point. I've been telling you lot for the past year or so that this guy's been one of our best players. That's why when he made those mistakes against Southampton, Brighton, fair enough, he's made the mistakes, but I can let him off the hook because he's gonna do us much more good than than harm.
Yeah.
And sorry, go on.
Sterling, I wanted to move on to quickly. His levels seem to have dropped over the last month or so, maybe slightly longer than that. Does he need a break out of the team? Are they suffering from Sane being injured?
Yeah,
this entire
100.
People saying he's not recovered from
what is
the beef with Joe Gomez. That his head's been rattled ever since he was carried like a small boy.
Have you seen that video of the one with him and Van Dijk, and Van Dijk is basically twisting him like a flipping Beyblade.
I thought you were even talking about when he had his party and his missus.
Since he had John Stones speaking patois.
You made a good point though, Dan. That you made a point about the likes of Laporte and Sane as well. I think Laporte, they desperate. It's not even that he's an elite defender, but he is by a country mile their best centre back. So they need him back, and the defense isn't even bad. But I just think just to be more assured, they need him back, and they need Fernandinho. I'm sorry, I like Rodri. I do like him. I think he's going to be a big player for Man City, but they need Fernandinho in midfield. Yeah, they need him in midfield. Yeah. I think even in defense yesterday, he bossed. He bossed that game for Man City. Yep. I think a lot of people sleep on this guy. He is still the best central defensive midfielder in the Premier League. I'm not having it. He's still the best, and I think they need him in midfield for these type of big games now. I also think as well. I know we've spoken about Man City. We actually won the game, so I want to flip it back to us. Son Heung-min, I've given him a lot of criticism. I thought he was poor again yesterday as well, but the good thing I'm liking about him is he's getting his goal scoring touch back. Yeah. And what we've been asking for, he's now starting to deliver. I'm hoping he goes on a run, because last year, when the onus was on him to take the goal burden off Harry Kane due to injury and carry this team, he did it. The season before that, when Harry Kane got injured, he took the goal burden, he carried the team. We know he's capable of doing it, but can you do it on a consistent basis? Like your Manes, like your Salahs. 3 and 3 now for him, and I hope it continues. Bergwijn, quality player. Stevie Wonder, quality prospect. 25 million. I think it's an absolute snip. I don't think any Spurs fan expected that signing, but the minute we were linked with him, I said it in the Trophyless Spurs chat. I said, this is a good to quality signing, especially at that price.
For the price, because that actually represents some real value in the market.
Fantastic business.
When you're seeing Pepe go for 72 million, Richarlison go for 50 million. You know what I mean? I think to get a player who's got some Champions League pedigree as well, and is so young and has such a high ceiling, I think for 25 M's,
it's quality. And I know you want to move on. Sorry, again, I have to big up my players. Harry Winks, I thought he was fantastic yesterday. That's the best game we've seen from Harry Winks in a long, long time. And Giovanni Lo Celso. How many times?
You want to just name the whole team then, yeah?
Our defense was actually fantastic yesterday as well.
But do you think I'm going to let you leave this Tottenham match without mentioning Sergio Aurier? How very dare you?
He actually had a good game yesterday. That's the thing.
You can't have a good game when you're giving away penalties.
But that's the problem with Aurier. That's the problem with Head Loss City, Head Loss Merchant, Head Loss FC. That is him to a T. He's the captain of Head Loss FC. And it's annoying because he actually had Sterling in his back pocket yesterday. He won the 1v1s and clearances was good as well. Positionally, he was in the right place at the right time, but he's just got that mistake in him. We need to upgrade for sure.
All right, let's leave it there for the Spurs City match. Any more?
VAR, my lord. They called this the VAR derby, by the way.
It actually is, because every time you lot play, VAR decisions galore. I think the only one they got wrong was the Sterling one. But no, actually, no.
You
Tell
mean
her
they
that.
got it right.
Yeah, they got that right. So I think on the face of it, they got all the decisions.
No, they got all the decisions right. I was just asking to talk about the decisions, but obviously you don't want to talk about Spurs anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, if they
I'm
got all
sick
the
and tired of
decisions
it.
right, we don't need to.
4 points behind Chelsea. We'll
the
take
guy's
it.
got a timer and he's not showed it to us
Yeah.
once. Whilst we've been on this match, yeah. Shock.
Oh, Gio Lascelles,
No, come on, just-
baller.
Have some decorum. Man. enough is enough.
This is a family podcast. All right.
The man told me have some decorum.
Wow. Liverpool 4, Southampton 0. Slightly unjust on Southampton, who played well. Liverpool is now 41 wins out of 42 for them. I'm finding it tiring to report on Liverpool because every week we just...
It's frankly ridiculous to be honest.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a bigger joke that Southampton were on the back of a 4-0 deficit because their play certainly didn't deserve that. I felt they went there and they rattled Liverpool's cages.
100%.
They completely stuck it all on Liverpool. We've mentioned this a few times before, even when they were in trouble. One of the things which is synonymous with Ralph Hasenhüttl is the intensity in which his teams will press you. Like he will commit. He'll practically throw his goalkeeper at you. That's how much they hunt in packs. Like he is. The problem with them is once you beat their press, they're finished. They're finito.
Because
but the thing is,
their defense is
so
very
bad.
poor one-on-one as well.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is, when the press is on point, it's very difficult for teams to play
He's
through.
getting his team to press as a unit as well.
Yeah.
So.
But shout out to him. But Liverpool, man, doing what they do best. 1 minute it will look like they're struggling in the game, then they'll either get a late goal, or it means 1 minute it's 0-0, and then in 10 minutes time they will just raise their gears by 2 or 3 and just put the game to bed.
I think that's where it's even more dangerous. They're kind of like a wounded tiger almost, because when they're playing badly, I believe in that team. None of them ever panic.
yeah.
They know throughout the 90 minutes, if it's the first minute, the second minute, or the 90th, they know that goal's coming. They're always calm, and you know they're gonna
Even
get the
Lovren?
goal.
The thing is, though, it's like,
Bro, you said none of them panic.
Okay, minus Lovren. You didn't need to bring the Lovren example in.
but it's like even against Wolves, I think, which was last week, it was a similar sort of match. That Wolves, they stuck it all over Liverpool. You're thinking, could they maybe do something here, get a goal whilst they're on top, but as soon as a team doesn't capitalise on their chances, Liverpool sink them, and they have so many weapons to sink you as well. I think even in this match, it was one end penalty shout, which I think was 100% a penalty. They don't get it given, and then boom, up the other end, 10 seconds, you're 1-0 down. You don't have any time to rest on your laurels against this team. They're just so dangerous.
Honestly, Stockley Park of literally Liverpool have got Stockley Park in their back pockets. It's ridiculous. Every VAR decision possible, it just goes Liverpool's way.
It does, but to be fair, they did have a blatant penalty that was overlooked.
Yeah,
to be
fair.
That was a stone wall penalty.
Yeah.
Stone
Also,
wall.
let's talk about Henderson, who is in the running for PFA Player of the Season. Apparently,
I hate Shearer at times. The thing is, he's not even a bad pundit, but sometimes he just chats absolute
I
wise.
think he's a bad pundit, to be honest.
He just chats.
I think
You know
he's
what?
a
You know what? Let me rephrase. You're right. He's a bad pundit. He's only good when he's talking about striker analysis, because his striker analysis is always on point because he was a bad boy striker. But outside of that, sometimes he has some ridiculous takes. I mean, Henderson, if the season ended now, he'd be your player of the season. Are you crazy? Henderson wouldn't even be my best Liverpool player.
Of the season.
It's
Although I could see
disrespectful
him-
to the rest of the
I
team.
could see him getting Liverpool Player of the Season.
What, on a simple
On a passion.
on a Luke Shaw tip for you lot last year.
Yeah,
Joke thing.
effort, innit?
Joke thing, man.
He has been terrific this season, though.
No, not this season. He started the season.
No, he has been terrific.
He was decent up until about December till now.
Once he had to fill in for
he's
Fabinho,
taken his game up a notch.
He's stepped up. He's definitely stepped up. But I think, there's so many to pick from that Liverpool team that Henderson wouldn't be at the top of it. I think, you can go for their team and you can pick probably the goalkeeper in Alisson. You can pick Van Dijk or Trent. over Henderson, Wijnaldum over Henderson, than any of the
I
front
don't
three.
think Wijnaldum. I think he's been better than Wijnaldum.
I think Wijnaldum's been their best.
I think Wijnaldum's
been their
class
best
this
centre mid
Nah,
this season for
no,
sure.
no. I think he started off dodgy. He started off dodgy, but I think again, he's another one. Ever since that Man City game, he came to play, and ever since then, I think his form, you've seen a sharp increase, or sharp upturn in form. Another player we don't mention as well, Mo Salah, 14 Premier League goals now, in the running for his third
I
consecutive.
definitely
golden
think
boot.
we mentioned him on this pod.
No, I'm saying not now. I'm saying we haven't mentioned him now in terms of players who.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What he does, it astounds me how people can actually overlook this guy. Like, he's actually going under the radar, and it doesn't make sense to me. The guy is outscoring strikers, and he keeps going under the radar.
Victim
For what
of his
reason?
own success, isn't he? But yeah, okay, cool. Let's move on to Watford. Took an L yesterday against Ancelotti's Everton. I think that's only one defeat now for that Everton side since Ancelotti has taken over. Seemed down and out, to be honest. And then Yerry Mina, who you said is a much improved defender.
I do think he's been much improved this season.
Not buying that.
He has been. He has been.
He's not made his like classic clangers as much
as
this
much.
season, which makes a difference.
There you go.
I'll
then.
give that.
So
I'll give
there
that.
you
to
go
Toby,
then.
yeah.
So
I'll give
there's
that to
there's
Toby.
been less head loss moments.
Yeah.
He's an okay defender.
And,
But to be
he is
fair,
an okay
improvement
defender.
on what's his
Michael
name?
Michael
Keane.
Keane.
I just need that guy to
25,
not go to
30
the
million.
Euros, man.
30
If Michael
million this
Keane
minute.
goes to Euros, I'm done.
God, Michael Keane or Tyrone Mings. This is what
England are reduced.
you would take Mings, of course, because of the physicality and the speed. But
Yeah.
even him,
I don't want him starting though. I don't want him starting.
I
But
even think.
But yeah,
Oh, go on.
no, go on now.
No, I was gonna say even with Gomez and Maguire, I still think there's head loss moments in there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
From Maguire.
Yeah,
And Gomez,
Yeah, maybe Gomez, but
Yeah.
But
I
that's
think
only 'cause
Gomez
he's
is
young,
more
though.
assured.
yeah.
yeah.
Gomez is more assured.
But you have to give Ancelotti credit as well for the comeback in this one, because they were down to 10 men and he kept all three of their attackers on the pitch, still trying to go for the win, and it paid dividends for them in the end, really.
And that's the first, because obviously we've made a joke about the fact that under Marcus Silva, the minute Everton go down, they're down and
Yeah.
out. This is the first time in over a year, I think, that they've actually recovered from a losing position.
Yeah.
To be 2-0 down against a side like Watford, who have actually had a pretty decent home record up until recently under Pearson, it's a fantastic result, I must say, with 10 men. And I want to put a spotlight on Watford as well. I think they need to remind themselves that they're in a relegation battle. I think they really need to wake up and smell the coffee. You're not out of the woods yet. I thought it was bad enough that you're 2-0 up and you can't manage the game from there
To half time.
to half time at least. So that's already one strike. So that's strike one. You've let Yerry Mina score 2 goals, the tallest centre back, and you're still not making the appropriate decisions to mark him out of set pieces. Strike number 2, you don't capitalize on 10 men for maybe 20-25 minutes, courtesy of that clown Fabian Delph, thinking he's the man, thinking he's the dog's bollocks.
Just reminds me of
and doing the most
of Matthew Flamini, where when he first came to Arsenal, well, the second time he came to Arsenal, and then he's just shouting
around,
and pointing, and actually contributing zero on the pitch. Yeah,
And
he's such a finished player.
and the thing is, he's not even a bad player, but he's just a clown at times, and I feel like he has this full sense of like arrogance that he can say whatever to people, that people have to listen to him. I mean, you've not had a bad career, but you are not that guy, mate.
Yeah.
And strike number 3 is conceding a goal in the dying embers of the game at home
And
against
Walcott-
10 men
Walcott
and let him
being the
feel
one to
Walcott, who
score it.
hasn't scored since May. That is embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. They need to wake up and smell the coffee. You're not out of the woods yet.
yeah.
And that's the second time in the space of like a week or two that they've lost the game from a winning position. That's 3 losses straight in all competitions.
I'm
It's
sure
not good enough.
Pearson would have
would
given
let
him
him know.
the
Like,
mad
I would
head
not
dryer.
wanna
He
be
has
in
to.
the-
I'm giving
I
him
would
to
not
it
be
now.
in the
'Cause
want
that's
to
a-
be in the dressing room when he's
because that's a guy that you can imagine
Yeah.
will be
Absolutely.
spitting all over your face
Yeah.
once he's laying
has
into
to.
you as well.
Someone's getting a belting, man. Someone is getting a belting because, bruv, every point matters in this battle. Like
It does.
the relegation
Table's so
is
compressed.
so congested.
Yeah. Two teams who are definitely in that relegation battle: West Ham and Brighton, and some of the shoddiest defending you will ever see.
Christ.
It's a competition as to
Who's most at fault.
who's the donkey of the week between Diop and Ogbonna.
Mate, Masuyaku was the one who kicked off that whole goal. Absolutely dreadful defend. That's some of the worst defending I've seen in the entire Premier League era. It's comical. I don't. Honestly, they should just feed them to the West Ham fans.
They would have moved them.
Yeah.
Feed it to the Lions. Feed it to the Lions.
They would have torn them apart. Oh
Mate,
my god.
these are the same fans who are chucking pound coins at the chair. At the chairman. I don't even want to know what they do if they got their hands on Ogbonna and Diop that game. Oh Lord.
Head loss. Yeah, West Ham obviously scoring 3 goals, but conceding 3 terrible goals from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, I mean, their 3 goals were jammy anyway, to be honest. Apart from the first goal. The second goal, wicked deflection from the Snodgrass goal. And the third one, outrageous deflection into the net. And if you actually look at it on the surface, they were lucky to get a point. I thought Brighton,
they missed a bag of chances.
I think that's why Brighton are in the spot they are, because this was a 6-point game for both sides. Brighton, how many times have we come on this platform saying this team missed their chances? This team missed their chances. They're averaging an XG of 2 to 3 goals probably over the past 2-3 matches, and I don't think they've won a single one of them.
Yeah,
and it's just ridiculous. Like, take your chances, because that game was there to be won yesterday as well. West Ham, for me, no matter how wide their lead was, Brighton, I think they did enough to stay into the game, and the comical goals that West Ham literally gifted Brighton, it just gave them the beeline, and then Glenn Murray puts it level.
Uncharacteristic mistake from Fabianski as well.
Yeah.
In a West Ham shirt, at least, that he normally has been a lot better claiming from corners and stuff like that and shot stopping, but that one where he's literally slapped the ball into the back of Ogbonna is actually ridiculous.
It's a curse for the West Ham keepers currently.
Yeah.
Because
He's been just spending too much time with Roberto.
He's definitely chilling with Roberto too much.
They can't get anything right at the minute. West Ham's next 7 fixtures: City away, Pool away, Southampton at home, Arsenal away, Wolves away, Wolves at home, Spurs away, Chelsea at home. I don't even want to analyse that. You lot can make.
It's peak. They'll actually be lucky to get maybe 3 points total.
And that's from Arsenal, right?
Yeah, of course it is. That is actually the easiest fixture.
Come on, stop it.
They'll probably draw with us if we're going to be
the thing is, the only encouragement I can probably give them is that in his last stint, David Moyes, I feel like against the lesser sides, he doesn't really have a plan, but like I feel like against the bigger sides, he thrives on trying to set up them to be hard to beat.
Give me an easier fixture there. City, Liverpool, Southampton, Arsenal, Wolves, Spurs, Chelsea.
Chelsea? They beat Chelsea away. I'm joking, man. It's peak for West Ham. A lot of their fans are already convinced they're gonna go down, and to be honest, I can't really do anything to dispel their worries because they have every right to be worried. They're thick in the battle.
At the end of that run, they could actually be more than a few points adrift. So you know they need to hope they can get some unexpected points from that run of games.
Brighton as well.
Sink 'em.
Tariq Lamptey, fantastic signing for them. I think. I can't believe Chelsea have let him go.
Yeah,
left and right back.
I was surprised by that, but I thought he was solely right back, which is why I would understand them letting him go, because obviously there's no clear route to the first team for him there. But if he can play left back as well, then that's a bit comical to me.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I think it's the player's decision though that he wanted to go, because he said, I think from at the start of the season he wasn't going to sign a renewal, so he only has 6 months left.
Maybe he wants to get some championship experience.
Don't be like that. Brighton will stay up.
I think they will. Yeah,
Brighton will stay up.
You know my thoughts on Graham Potter.
Yeah, you hate him.
You're just anti.
So weird.
You just want to go against.
He just rubs me the wrong way.
For what reason?
You didn't even know his name.
Exactly.
Yeah, at the start of the season.
His dad died literally the other week as well. Have some sympathy.
Yeah, okay, but that aside,
I want you to say for 1 week you don't hate him because his dad died.
I don't hate him.
You don't have any reason to dislike the guy.
Yeah.
So
then why do you
he
dislike
rubs
him?
me the
then?
wrong way.
How?
He's
How does
a
he
better
rub you?
manager than your manager?
That's
Is
why.
that why?
It's definitely why.
Let's move on. Enough of that. Leicester 2, Chelsea 2. Anyone surprised with that result?
Nope.
Not really.
Yeah.
Predicted a score draw before a ball was kicked. Chelsea Jekyll and Hyde performances per first half dominated the game and should have been up by maybe at least a goal. I thought Callum Hudson-Odoi and Reece James were causing all sorts of havoc on that right side. I think Ben Chilwell was having a rough time, and I felt like Harvey Barnes weren't really offering him the support that he needed. Odoi and Reece James just doubling up on him. When Odoi came inside, Reece James would go outside, and I thought he's putting in some delicious
Very
balls,
good,
man.
very good balls.
But again, same old story for Chelsea. You can't finish your dinners. Like, what's that saying that what's his name says in Peep Show to Mark Corrigan in it's Jeff. He goes you could have Sophie laying right there and you still wouldn't have the balls to do it. And I felt like that's indicative of Chelsea now in front of goal, because when Tammy Abraham is not firing, this team, they're out of ideas when it comes to goal scoring, and
he's half injured. He's half injured now as well. So I think, given the way that they play, I think it was really weird to not see Giroud in the squad.
Very
full
weird.
stop.
Yeah,
especially given the fact that they blocked his transfer the day before.
And Batshuayi didn't come on either. He brought on Ross Barkley.
Yeah, Ross Barkley as well. So I don't know. I think Lampard's got a few questions to answer, because given the way that you play, you put in a lot of crosses into the box. That's your main mode of chance creation. Giroud should definitely be getting a lot more minutes than what he is getting.
Definitely.
Probably one of the best headers of the ball in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Do you think he's sending a message though?
I don't.
What
I
kind
don't
of
get what
messages
sort
he's
of messages,
sending
because
then? Yeah.
I need a player.
Okay, but like you're not gonna get that by purposely sabotaging games. I don't understand.
And also, like the transfer windows just is over
Closed.
now.
Yeah,
So
it'd be very futile.
it's proper silly. But I think I think they definitely needed additions in January, and I'm surprised that they didn't get anyone.
Yeah, he's definitely sending a message to his keeper though. Kepa, fuck up your ideas.
Good.
Yeah, I've heard he's already requested a replacement in summer. To be honest,
Wild.
Yeah.
Good, man.
I'm not surprised.
They need to cut their
because
losses.
I'm sorry, like £73 million should buy you a lot more goalkeeper than what he's got. With,
Man said a lot more goalkeeper.
the guy's like 5'11", yeah. So
is he 5'11"?
yeah, I think he's 6 foot, but
Same big.
we'll round it down.
Yeah.
It's just on Leicester as well. 3 goals in 3 straight Premier League games for Harvey Barnes. I think he's finding some goal scoring touch as well. A lot of people thought Ayoze Perez played well that game. I didn't think he played well.
Okay.
I didn't even think he was over. I thought he was quite poor. Apart from 1 or 2 turns, I didn't think he had much of an impact on the game. Jamie Vardy as well. No goal in his since like the 21st of December or something like that.
It's his longest goal drought in 3 years.
Mate, it's finally happened. But the one thing, the age-old saying that we had at the start of the year is that Leicester, they're doing well, they're flying, but if the goals dry up for Vardy, then the wins might dry up as well. And you look at them, 1 win in 5. I actually had some hope, thinking, maybe we can drag them into this battle.
Look at that.
I looked at the table
and
I saw an outrageous buffer. Buffer. They are dead set for Champions League.
They've done all their work at the right time as well. So yeah, they can afford these drop points.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Bournemouth and Villa.
And Rudiger as well. Sorry, shout out him. He scored a brace on his 100th appearance. What? So what? We're not gonna mention that? I don't understand it.
It's tumbleweed. Absolute tumbleweed.
Bro, that second header was fantastic.
It was a good header.
Fantastic header.
It was a really good header. Cool. Back to Bournemouth and Villa then. Back-to-back wins for Eddie Howe's team. Suddenly, looking a lot sunnier for Bournemouth.
Did you do that on purpose? Because they're coastal. Because they're like
I didn't. I wish I was that intelligent.
Yeah.
that would be a reach, anyways.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, obviously Eddie Howe. I think a few weeks ago we were saying he should pack his bags and.
I mean, I wasn't saying that. I like Eddie Howe, but maybe the time was right. Maybe the writing was on the wall for him. But if he can turn it around, then boy, let him turn it around.
I never thought that he should walk just because I didn't see who they would get in that would be an improvement on him really. So I always thought they should give him the time because he's still young as well. So his time is actually on his side to turn things around.
I think he should leave whatever happens at the end of the season. To be honest,
I think so as well.
The team as far as he can.
I think so as well. I think at the end of the season, he should. I really felt West Ham should have made a beeline for him. West Ham fans will probably hate me for saying this, but I think he is a manager who needs a bit more of a challenge in terms of what his remit is as a manager, because his remit over the past few years is just stay in the league, get to spend all this money, blah blah blah. If you spend 90 million but you finish 17th, it's not a disappointment. I think he needs a job with more responsibility, man.
Also, it would be good to see him with a few higher quality players as well, given the style of play that he likes to implement. Like, I think if you had the likes of, Felipe Andersons, your Yarmolenkos and stuff like that, it'd be interesting to see how they would react to him.
But he buys all his players though. Yeah. He bought Billing. Yeah? He bought Billing. He bought Jordan.
I think he's bought every single one of them, given how long he's been there.
He has a say in who they buy. Yeah.
So as for Villa, Jack Grealish continuing to play out of his skin, but just no beans for them.
Mate, what did we say last week? If there's 3 teams you want to be playing at home that are as good as a win, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Norwich. Yeah. Aston Villa, I think it's joint worst away record in the league. 9 losses in 13. It's as good as a W. If you can't beat Aston Villa at home, shame on you. Shame on you. You deserve a Cersei style.
You're really on
Cersei it style punishment.
The TV reference.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
All
true.
Right, cool. Let me rattle through some of these lesser games. Palace 0, Sheffield United 1. Gaeta, dreadful error.
Yeah, man. I felt sorry for him because he's been one of their best players this season. But
That's actually atrocious.
It happens.
It does happen. Sheffield United obviously continuing that fantastic away run in the league.
Only 2 losses away from home.
Yeah. No losses in the capital.
No defeats in the capital.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the workmen are coming to the big city slickers and getting points? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Wow. It's a fairy tale.
What sort of stereotypes are you portraying there?
It's the facts. It's a working city. It's a working man city.
Yeah.
What have you heard of a Sheffield banker? Come on, man.
Leeds' second biggest financial capital in the country after London.
Oh, fair.
It's your fact of the day.
Fair enough. I like Leeds though.
Yeah,
I like.
But this is not Leeds, is it?
Well, it's like next door.
Yeah, but like,
come on,
London's next door.
Stop doing this, then. Like we pay Sheffield as industry and grit.
I know, but
nothing more, nothing
we
less.
have to fight stereotypes in 2020.
Bringing a diverse view into this podcast.
Yeah, can't have no Craig Mitch situation later down the line. Yeah.
Honestly, no Craig Mitch. No. Had to put that disclaimer there, man.
Good. All right. Newcastle 0, Norwich 0. Before you can say anything about the city of Newcastle, I'm going to move on to Man United.
I mean, come on, we got to talk about it.
No,
really?
There's literally one bullet point underneath this in the notes where we can happily glaze over that.
What does that bullet point say?
They both got
teams kept clean sheets. That's about it.
But we also
Stop.
Nah, get out of here, man.
Newcastle should be winning those type of games at home.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
Almirez.
No.
Joelinton still couldn't score. Joelinton couldn't score.
You're actually taking a mick
against Norwich.
You're actually taking a
Alright, cool. Sorry.
Man United 0, Wolves 0. That was an absolutely dreadful game, to be honest. Bruno Fernandes.
I fell asleep, you know. I actually fell asleep at half time.
I went to the shower at 15 minutes. Dan was the only one who saw this match.
Watch the full. And I wish I napped. To be honest, I needed the sleep.
Bruv, I was fuming when I woke up because I had put on I was tethering off my phone for that because my Wi-Fi was down, and I had about I can't remember how much gigabytes I had, but it went down by like 2 gig, and I was thinking, why have I wasted 2 gig on this god awful match of football? It was terrible.
Waste of time.
Absolutely terrible.
I thought Bruno Fernandes looked decent though as a debut, but I think it's telling that Ole could just chuck him on after half a training session because he literally has no idea what he's doing on the training pitch. There's no pattern to play.
He needs players. Come on.
Nah, I'm like I've said it before. They needed to back because my thing is when you put a manager there, you have to back him. You have to back him.
Had enough.
But this guy,
He's had enough.
He's actually like he's so clueless. It's so like the thing is, you thought Bruno Fernandes looked better moving him to a deep position, but I thought he looked way worse. Like I think. In the first half, he was actually linking well with Mata and stuff like that. But I think when he moved to a deeper position, he showed that he's not really a centre mid. Like I think he put a lot of wayward passes in, and I think Neves and Moutinho outclassed him when he was deeper.
The Wolves fans were saying you're just a crap Ruben Neves.
He looked like one yesterday. Second half.
I think we need to play a 4-3-3 to be honest, but I think it just showed or highlighted our deficiencies in the midfield area, and it was kind of like when we play Pogba, it's like. You might be one talented player, but you can't do everything by yourself.
I would like to see him, Pogba and Fred. I think.
I reckon if by the end of the season we can't see any marked improvement with Pogba fit, with Fernandes there, then yeah, he needs to go. To be honest,
your marquee signing of the window.
Oh yeah! Wow, really? I almost forgot about that.
Honestly, the biggest name to move.
Adione Igalo. Ridiculous. I was reading an article about it in The Athletic today about how it says his best friend and his agent was like, Dion, there was one thing I recognized. I'm putting on this.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
There was one thing I recognized about about him as a kid and him now. There was a photo of him. He was wearing the Man United top when he was young, and now he's wearing the Man United top when he's professional football player. It's always been his dream to play for Man United. It's always everyone's dream to play for Man United.
The thing is that in 2016 he actually said, "I'm not leaving Watford apart from to go to Manchester United," which is. And the thing is, back then you would laugh at it, and you even laughed at it in this window when I put in a goal.com headline. Yeah,
I was prepared to kick you from the chat.
United linked to Slimani and Igalo, and I was stoned, and I was, as some guys used to say, I was laughed at the group chat. Honestly, because I was told we need to have exercise quality control, but apparently your scouts need to exercise some quality control as well because Odion Igalo is seen as a solution. It's honestly, I think it's some of the worst transfer business. And the thing is, I don't even care if he goes and scores 5-6 goals for you lot. That is a guy that should never be playing in the United shirt.
It's ridiculous. Well said, Dan. And just to piggyback off your point as well, I don't know what's worse. The fact that they've actually had about 7 months to get a Lukaku replacement, and you've come up with Odion Igalo on deadline day. You haven't even thought of getting any other proper striker or investing a hefty amount in a long-term prospect, because apparently you lot don't have the money these days to do so. But not only have you made a shocking signing in Odion Igalo, who can't really offer much nowadays in the Premier League, it also condemns the likes of Martial. How bad must you have been over the past couple of weeks? How unreliable have you been this season that they have to go out and sign Odion Igalo? Mate. I would rather have no one than sign Odion Igalo.
I think so.
Honestly.
100%.
Obviously, as the lone Ghanaian on this pod, surrounded by 2 Nigerians, I'm actually going to back my Nigerian brother, Odion Igalo, to be a success.
I'm telling you, he sucks.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he sucks.
My dad was absolutely astounded that this flop, who's cost us tournament after tournament with his misses, has signed for Manchester United.
We won't forget. You think because he scored 4 goals at AFCON that we'll just forget?
5.
The guy, he scored 4.
No, he was 5.
Oh, was it 5?
Yeah, 5.
Whatever. He's crap. Anyway, all he knows how to do is back that bum of his into defenders and pretend he's gonna hold up the ball and feed it into no one.
He's the Lagos Lacazette. That's what we're gonna call him.
He's worse than
the Nigerian Ronaldo. That's what they call him.
Have some respect, man.
Honestly.
All right, cool. Arsenal Burnley 0-0. Equally as poor match there. Over to our Arsenal correspondent.
You might have the Lagos Lacazette, but unfortunately we've got the real Lacazette. I'm sorry, him and Ozil, they really Arteta needs to now just like make the big decision and drop both of them from the starting lineup. Özil, no assist away from home in 2 years. His last assist coming the day before he signed his new contract. So you can't even make this stuff up.
Yeah.
What?
Like, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Lacazette, no goal, no away goal in over a year. And I just think, like, I was reading some the timeline today, and they were saying, has there been a first team striker at Arsenal that's gone longer? The only ones are Kanu and Bentner, who were basically super subs for long periods of time. Otherwise, he's the longest, and he's our second most expensive striker of all time. It's
not good enough.
It's laughable. And I think as well now, like, that was the first game that people actually asked questions of Arteta, because a lot of his game management and decisions that he made in relation to that game weren't correct. I think picking Aubameyang and Martinelli on the wings really sort of limits what we can do in that attack, because neither of them are really great with the ball at their feet. They need to be fed in behind, and when you only have Özil feeding those balls, it's not really very good. So I think he did the easy thing in dropping Pepe, and I think now he needs to make the hard calls and drop the big egos from the starting lineups.
Mesut Ozil as well, he's one that puzzles me, because I saw him against Man United. He was fantastic and whatnot, but this guy made his name. He made his name off being the assist king, like stats merchant, whatever you want to call him. The fact that he can't score or assist for love nor money now is actually, it's laughable, and it's a sad state of affairs that these are your best attacking options now. It's actually embarrassing. And just to take the light off Arsenal, to shine it on Burnley, I thought Burnley were unlucky not to win.
They were.
And I thought Jay Rodriguez, in fact, that's not even unlucky. He has to score that. Like, he has to score that chance. I thought they had 2 headers, which are basically as good as golden chances for them. But I'm just happy that they've turned it around. I mean, they've had Leicester, who was it they beat? Leicester, Man United, and Arsenal. Like, prior to that run, after the shocking December, the December that they had, a lot of Burnley fans would have been fearing that. But Sean Dyche doing what he does best. He's been here, he's been around the block, and he's navigated his team to what's that? 7 points out of 9 against 3 of the sides who are in the
teams,
3 of the bigger sides in the top half of the table. So you have to respect it, man. You really do.
I mean, he does it season in, season out, and I was never worried for them, because they go through peaks and troughs every season, and I think Sean Dyche eventually just turns it around. Cool. All right, that's all we have time for, folks. Dan, you gonna sign us out?
Yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe to Cheeky Sport to get all of the content on there, all the good stuff for the Cheeky Sport podcast and the better podcast, this one here. Follow us on Twitter at Tapping Football. Follow us on Instagram at Tapping Football. Follow me, Dan Coogs.
No, I'm private.
Steve,
I'm private.
Stevie Idiots.
Yeah, Stevie_idiots. Tapping Tobes. Make sure you follow me over these 2.
What a loser. If you want to see images of
no, wait. Before we end this as well, can we just decide, because you said that the Pepe celebration was better than Bergwijn's. Fam, Bergwijn's celebration is actually cold. It's cool on.
This one is cold.
No, it's not. This one, you can, as I said yesterday, you can tell you work a desk job if you think this is better than this. Come on. This is cold.
This is someone who watches WWF.
This is cold. You can't see me, John Cena, man. Come on.
And
it's a W as well. Come on.
We're putting it to the crowd, so you guys, you need to vote. Let us know.
You can't see me, John Cena.
Yeah.
Get a life, man.
Okay, cool. Get a life. Go on. Pretend for the audience that you don't watch wrestling.
I don't.
So you don't. So you don't.